Hello learners, welcome to the series of lectures on Python programming. In this video, we are going to solve one problem based on the previous concept. In the previous concept, we already learned about the class creating classes and objects and also creating a constructors and member function inside a class, right? So based on that, we are going to solve one program. So in this case, we have the question like this, right? So find the distance between 2 points in Cartesian coordinate system. Right. So if you already know that this Cartesian coordinate system is nothing but an XY plane, right? So you can see here, it's an XY plane. Now, any point we can consider in the Cartesian coordinate system, it has two values. It has X value and Y value. Okay, it may be in positive side or it may be in negative side. Suppose we have 2 points, okay, in Cartesian coordinate system. So we have to find the what's the distance between those 2 points. Okay, for to find the distance between these 2 points, we have the formula saying this one, okay, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, and you have to take the square root of entire thing, right? So now this is the distance formula, right? Now we have to solve this with the help of these classes and objects. Okay, so we'll go to the Python project. So we have the Python project here. I already mentioned that the how to calculate the distance. So square root of function, right? So x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, right? So we'll do this. Okay, right. So for first we have to create one class, right? So I'm going to create a class, say class point. Okay, point class. Now I have to create how many variables are required now? I require two variables, right? We have for any point we consider it has two values, x and y values, right? So first value I'm directly going to create with the help of constructor. So I'll define how to write a constructor. We have init method, init. Okay, so one parameter is self, and we need two more, right? So one is x value, second one is y value, right? After that, I'm going to initialize those values. Right? Self uh, dot x is equal to x. In the same way, I'll write self dot y is equal to 1. So now I'm going to initialize two value x and y. Now after that, so I have to find the distance, right? So for distance, I'm going to create one member function, right? So I'll write define distance. Now, when I say distance, I need 2 points, right? So one point is already exist inside my point class. I need one more argument, or that should be taken or given by the user, right? One parameter is self. Second parameter is one, I'll say other. Now this is your say one object from the point class. Okay, just for that reason, I'm going to use object point class. And what type of return type? I can mention the return type here as say float. Okay, just I'll mention as a float. Okay, so right. Now x and y may be in floating point value, right? So I'll also mention that float, x may be your float value and y is also float value. Okay. Right. So now how to find the distance? We have the square root function. So either you can use the double star operator or you can use the math module. So I'll go to import the math module. So right, import math module. Okay. So how to write now? So I have to write math dot sqrt square root function. After that, I need first I have to calculate x2 minus x1 square. Right. So I can use one more bracket saying first parameter is from the same class, right? So when I want to take from the same class, I have to use the self parameter, right? So, right, I'll write self dot x, okay, self dot x, x2 minus, I have to write, say, one more parameter is coming from this other class, right? So I'll write other dot x. Okay, other dot x. Now to square those values, I'll use star star. Okay. Now to add the value and I have to repeat the same thing for y also, right? So I need one more bracket saying this self dot y, okay, minus, so other dot y. Now to square those with the help of this. Just I'll use the spaces for Python standard. Okay, so I got the answer, right? So math dot square root self dot x minus other dot y, other dot x. That means one parameter from the same point class and one more parameter from a given, right? Right. So I have to return this value, right? So I'll say return. Okay. Okay, so I already created a point plus and also distance, right? So now I have to create an object, right? So how to create an object? So it use the one object, say p1, point one, so which contains, which is belongs to the point class, right? So I have to mention the x and y value, say 2 comma 2 or 2 comma 3, right? So one point class object. I'll create one more point 2. Okay, now this also belongs to the point class. Okay, so I'll write something 3 comma 8. Okay. So after that, I have to find the distance. Now either I can use like this. I'll write print p1 dot distance. Now I have to use one parameter p2. Now p2 is object type, right? So I have to use p2. So p1 dot distance p2. Now this will calculate the distance between 2 points. Or either I can use p1 dot distance p2 or p2 dot distance p1. Okay, both are correct in this case. Okay, right. So I'm going to run the program. Okay, so I'm getting the distance as 5.099101. Okay, so now this is the one method. So where we can use the object-oriented concepts, right? So we're going to create a point as a class. Okay, I hope you understand this. So for more videos, subscribe our channel.